This is Sean with Voices of Racing and Silo Car Stories. And sir, what is your name?
Jared Krisloff.
Jared Krisloff. And you have a beautiful old pace car. So tell us a little bit about the car itself.
Yeah, so it's a 1978 Indianapolis 500 pace car. It's probably one of the first years that the pace car was pretty custom made, but also rolled out as a consumer vehicle. So they made several thousand in a couple different engine displacement sizes, manuals, automatics. This one's the L48, so it's not the bigger engine, of those that were made, but it's still a great looking Corvette. Pretty iconic among the pace cars, just by the look, the custom paint job, the lettering, all those sorts of things. So,
how did you come to acquire it?
I'd always wanted a pace car, and so over the years, I'd really never gravitated towards a specific car necessarily. And so when I was doing my search, I was looking at all kinds of different vehicles, big body pace cars, cars from the 80s, since I'm an 80s kid. And a couple things came together on this one. One, in 1978, the state license plate in the state of Indiana was an Indy 500 plate. So I thought that was pretty cool because it matched up with this vehicle, which I really liked. It's fun, it's a T-top. Again, it's one of those iconic years where they started making these consumer vehicles after the race. And so the plate worked out really well, and I was able to score plate number one for 1978. And so in the state of Indiana, if it's a historic car, you can plate it with an original year plate. So for a lot of reasons, it'd be really cool to get a 500 festival, license plate, because it was the actual year in 1978 for the plate in Indiana. It works really well with the car. It's a fun car to drive. And so I was like, if I was going to have one, kind of putting those pieces together, it seemed like the right thing to do.
All right, so have you driven this on the track?
I have not driven this on a track.
You've got a connection to the track, is that right?
I do.
What's the backstory? Just let the people know a little bit about the family history.
There's a lot of prongs to it, but the short story is that my great-grandfather was Tony Holman. My grandmother was Mary George. Grew up at the racetrack. My father was a 13-time starter. My grandfather's a 2-time starter. My cousin's a 2-time pole sitter. So, my career out there was in events and marketing, and so I spent pretty much most of my life out there up until the last couple of years. So, nonetheless, the Indianapolis 500 is always a big piece of my heart and my life, and so it's cool to have something that's fun to drive around, take it out to the race when we go.
Car shows?
Haven't taken it to any car shows yet, not for any other reason other than just being busy.
Right.
But it'll make its way to a car show for sure.
Where's it your favorite place you've driven it?
Really just around town.
Yeah.
It's fun. Everybody likes to check it out. It sounds really good. It's not all original. The exhausts are period correct on the side of it.
Tape. Is it an 8-track tape in there? 8-track.
So that was, I'd never used an 8-track player. So I went on eBay and scored a box of 8 tracks. So it's got
Fog Hat. Look at this Boston, Aerosmith, Doobie Brothers. That is one heck of an Eddie Money.
I know it's a great
Sticks, Kansas. Wow, that's
you gotta
impressive.
You gotta listen to the right time.
Do they sound all right?
They sound just fine. I mean, the audio quality isn't the greatest on a 1978 Corvette, but it does fulfill the experience when you're driving it with the T-top down and you've got some 8 tracks playing. It's a little scratchy, but it's fun.
And what's the horse on it?
I actually don't know what the horse is on it. I haven't geeked out on the specs. I'm usually not that type of person that knows every little detail about the mechanics. I'm pretty aesthetically drawn to cars. But it's an automatic gearbox. It sounds nice. Like I said, the aftermarket exhausts that were put on it by the first owner, those sound really nice. Makes it a little throatier when you drive it. I'm only the second owner So the car was kept in fantastic shape, driven every year. It's got 40,000 miles on it. So
Wow.
it wasn't, it wasn't by any means a show vehicle, which was kind of what I was looking for, honestly, because, I like driving the car when I get a chance to it. So I didn't want to be so obsessed with a chip here, a chip there. It already kind of had some character on it. So, this is by no means going to be a show quality vehicle, and I will not keep it in that quality just because I know I'm going to take it places and drive it, and my kids will enjoy it and get in it, and so that'll be fun. So it does have a couple of things added. It's got an aftermarket, fuel injection system on it, which is kind of nice. Starts every time for the most part. Runs real smooth. So it's a fun car. I'll tell you what, it's really tight inside of it.
Okay.
People. I know people weren't smaller in the 70s, but man, my head's almost sticking out the top of the T-tops when I get in it. So it's pretty tight. But it's a great experience to drive, an older car. It gives you a lot of appreciation for how nice new cars are.
Sure.
How easy new cars are to drive.
Right.
Not that this is difficult, but, it doesn't stop on a dime like a new car. The steering isn't as responsive as a new car. And all that sort of thing. But you kind of get to go back in time and have some fun.
All right. Well, thank you for your time today and telling your beautiful story about the family history as well as acquiring the ride. It is a beautiful ride, and I'd love to drive in it sometime, but who knows? Anyway, Jared, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
You got it.